Hello, I'm Krista Rippins, and we are here today to remove some of the mystery from Chattarunga. Do you ever have students with shoulder pain, with shoulder injuries? Do you ever have shoulder injuries or shoulder pain? This is the first in a 3-part video series for yoga teachers called Yoga Anatomy Magic with the Franklin Method. Using imagery, touch, and movement, we develop a picture of our own anatomy and its function from the inside out. Having a picture changes how we feel, how we move, and how we teach. So as yoga teachers, you know what's really going on in the body and can help your students relieve their pain and experience true healing. In order to take some of the mystery out of Chattarunga, we need to know how the arm bone, the humerus, interacts with the shoulder blade, the scapula. So to start our exploration, walk your fingers up your arm bone, the humerus, to the head of the humerus. It's called the humeral head. The way you'll know when you get there is when you swing your arm forward and back, the head of the humerus will disappear because it rolls back into the socket, like so. So when you swing your arm forward, when the bottom of the humerus goes forward, the top rolls back into the socket. Picture that it's very slippery and smooth in there. Let your arm shake out, breathe, and just from that, see if you feel a little difference in the two sides. Usually, just awakening the touch with the imagery and movement releases tension. Let's go to the other side. So we walk the fingers up the humerus to the humeral head. And if you're not sure, you just search. Lift your arm and does something move? If it moves, you're on it. If it doesn't move, you're on this bone up here, the scapula. Or you could be all the way up here on the clavicle. But we're looking for the head of the humerus. And when the arm comes forward, the humeral head glides back in the socket and then glides forward in the socket. And back in the socket and forward in the socket. Slippery, smooth, gliding surface. Let their second arm shake out. The reason it's important to have this picture in our mind of the head of the humerus going into the socket is that we want to create stability in every movement that we do. So come into a downward dog, either on the floor or against the wall, and picture the head of the humerus compressing into the socket of the scapula. This joint, the head of the humerus and the socket of the scapula, is called the glenohumeral joint. You now are connected to your glenohumeral joint. So come on up from that, and let's apply our embodiment of the glenohumeral joint to the push-up or chaturanga. So a very common cue in yoga is for people when they're learning the push-up is to pull the elbow into the rib cage as you're lowering down. So let's look at that. You noticed before when you brought your arm forward, the humeral head slid back. If you pull the bottom of the humerus in, the top tractions out of the socket. This is problematic because we are not creating stability in the joint. We're in fact tractioning the head of the humerus out of the joint while we put load. We put the weight of our upper body on it. So if you just bring the elbows out a little bit, then the head of the humerus will stay tractioning into the socket. So let's experiment. Go against the wall or the floor and practice with your elbows any distance from your bench. You experiment. And picture the head of the humerus staying connected into the socket. Head of the humerus, feeling it in the socket. You can still use that slippery, smooth, gliding image. And then let's change it and pull the elbows into the rib cage as you lower down and as you come up. And is there a difference in how it feels in your shoulder joint and how it feels up into the neck? What happens is, because this is more strain on the joint, it puts tension into the neck. And it is what causes people, in my experience, to say, oh, I can't do yoga, it hurts my shoulders. When in fact, if we just keep that humeral head tractioning into the socket, strengthening the glenohumeral joint with every movement, everybody can do yoga and feel strong and empowered in their bodies. So let your arms hang down. Let's celebrate. You have now embodied your glenohumeral joint. Dun, dun, dun. This knowledge gives you a precise way to help your students gain strength without tension and feel empowered in their own bodies. This understanding transformed my body, transformed my teaching, and my business. I want that for you. Join me for my free online video workshop, Shoulder Hell to Shoulder Heaven. The top 3 mistakes yoga teachers make that keep themselves and their students with shoulder and neck tension. Click on the link below to register for the free online workshop with me. I'm excited to be there with you. The next video in this series is called The Hidden Key to Back, Neck, and Knee Tension Release. Keep your eye on your inbox. It'll be there in a couple days. I look forward to being with you again. Namaste.